On Monday, the Nigeria Labour Congress boycotted the meeting convened by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, to avert the two-day warning strike that organized labour begins today. Now, affiliate unions of the NLC, including the National Union of Air Transport Employees, the Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, as well as others, in a joint circular, directed all stakeholders in the aviation sector to comply with the NLC's directive to join the strike. And they're not the only ones who are supposedly striking today. Now we'll go straight to News Central's correspondent in Abuja, Marvelous Obomanu, and he'll give us the latest. He was present at the meeting and then also tell us how things are looking in Abuja. Marvelous, thank you so much for joining me on Business Edge. Getting straight to it, the Minister of Labour met with the Trade Union Congress. The NLC was not present, but what was the outcome of that particular meeting?
Anyway, what you should understand is that first, the Nigerian Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, had already billed the Nigerian Labour Congress for a meeting after their first interview earlier yesterday. So the meeting was scheduled to take place by 3 p.m. So the minister waited for the Nigerian Labour Congress up to about 5:30 to 6 yesterday evening, but they didn't show up. So fortunately, it was the Trade Union Congress that honored the invitation, and they came. So during that press briefing, the minister appealed to the Trade Union Congress that they just came on board and they were still receiving briefing on what the issues were. So they pleaded that the organized labor union in Nigeria should give them more time so that they can find a lasting solution and come to a table to discuss and, of course, dialogue and find some of the solutions to the pressing issues that the organized labor unions are raising. So at the end of that meeting, the trade union, the leadership of the Trade Union Congress agreed to give the federal government 2 weeks. And the agreement was premised upon the fact that the president at the moment is not in the country. And of course, he may be back in the next 1 week or two. And once he comes back, he will convene a federal executive meeting where the Minister of Labour and other ministers will bring to the table some of the issues happening in the polity for them to have a discussion and then call back the Trade Union Congress to tell them what the government had agreed. But then it's also important that we know why this Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress, are calling for this national strike. First of all, they are also accusing the government of being insincere to the issues they've already raised and agreed upon, and they've not yet implemented those negotiations. Secondly, they also say that there needs to be an upscaling of the minimum wage, that the federal government, in fact, the president needs to pronounce the new minimum wage and its implementation. Thirdly, their fear is that the palliative the federal government has set on ground already to push on the effect of petrol subsidy. Their fear is that it might not get to the ordinary Nigerian, those who those palliatives are intended for, and they are afraid that the state can boycott or try to manipulate, or of course you understand what corruption does to the society, may hijack those funds. Also, they said that federal government, in as much as they have earmarked 5 billion naira for states, the money is too small, but then states have not gotten those funds. They only just released 2 billion plus other food items. Another thing, they're also talking about the tax imposition on government workers, that it is much, that they need to reduce it. The Trade Union Congress also raised the issue of the National Union of Road Transport Workers and Repair in Lagos, and of course, they need to, find a way to cope some of those challenges. So these were the issues that the Trade Union Congress and NLC are bringing to the table. But of course, the minister said that part of solving the insincerity aspect of the issues they are raising is the fact that they have also called for a meeting, and NLC did not honor that meeting and did not even give feedback on why they didn't come.
Okay, Marvelous, let me come in there because I have some specific questions I need to quickly ask you because of time. So NLC did not show up to the meetings. As you said, the TUC was present and the TUC and the minister apparently waited, but NLC did not show up. As we know right now, that means there should be a strike happening right now. So Marvelous, tell us what the streets of Abuja look like right now. Does it look like there is a strike, or at least a sit at home? Because there's also been clarification that this is not a strike protest that we expect to see people on the streets, but that labor is asking its people to sit at home for these 2 days in order to protest the state of things.
All right. So of course, if you monitor keenly how the organized labor unions have been, behaving ever since the removal of petrol subsidy. The organized labor union in Nigeria is a marriage between the Trade Union Congress, the Nigerian Labour Congress, and other affiliate agencies. Now, they have presented a common ground. They've been together in this demand. And in fact, you see when the organized labor union, they had a protest around the country sometime last month. They were with TUC and NLC. In fact, they both went to the National Assembly, where the leadership of the National Assembly promised that they will, sit down with the executive. So they've all been together in this demand to make sure that the Nigerian workers do not feel the brunt of the removal of petrol subsidy. Now, to our utter amazement, yesterday they were supposed to also be together, which is the normal tradition. But it was only TUC that came, which many people were saying that since TUC honored the invitation and NLC did not honor that invitation, there is a likely possibility that they both are not in sync with this proposed two-day warning strike. And that is why in Abuja now we are seeing not just a quick compliance, but a temporary one. Because I visited the federal secretariat here in Abuja, we also see that some civil servants, some Nigerian workers came to work, while some did not come. But this morning, NLC released a statement that Nigerian workers should sit at home, and any attempt or any force to coerce them into coming to work, whoever that does that will have to interface with the NLC. So there's a little bit compliance to the sit at home here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital.
All right, Marvelous, very quickly, because I have to let you go. On a quick side note, we've noticed the return of fill queues in Lagos, and a lot of filling stations apparently have been shut. Are you noticing that in Abuja as well? Very quickly, because I need to go to Perpetual. She's standing by.
Anyway, we are not having such situation here in the nation's capital. Everything is, the police stations are open. People are getting their petrol.
All right, thank you for that. So we'll need to find out what's happening here in Lagos. Marvelous. Obomanu, thank you so much for joining, touching base with us from Abuja. So I know that Perpetual Fashami Peter is also on the streets of Lagos to see how this strike that was called by the NLC, now without the support of the Trade Union Congress, is faring. Perpetual, are you with me now?